Hello, Floss Tube.
I'm Dan, the man, the myth, the dragon.
And I'm Julie. And this is the Dan and Julie Show. Today is Sunday, March 22nd, and this is my 39th Floss Tube video. Today we have a special guest. You've seen him before. You've seen him before, my husband, Dan, who refers to himself as the man, the myth, and the legend.
No.
No.
I'm not a legend yet.
Okay, the man, the myth, and the dragon. Sorry, excuse me. The dragon.
I would like to explain that a little bit because I'm not really all that vain. But I decided about a week ago to switch from Irish Spring soap to an Old Spice body wash because I kind of like the deodorant smell that I was using. But it's called Dragon Blast, and I was noticing on the back that right here it says, for the man, the myth, and the dragon. So I kind of explained that to Julie, and she just kind of laughed it off and thought
Kind
I
of
was
rolled my eyes.
being silly. So I'm staying with that.
So his lordship is out now, and
Yep.
now we have to refer to you as
The man,
the myth,
the dragon.
the dragon. Okay, whatever. Anyway, let's see, I already said it was Sunday. We're at the shop today. Thought I would try and get a floss tube done. But with everything going on, you never know what's going to happen. So, haven't talked to you since before market. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my market experience. I know you've heard about market from a lot of people. But everyone's perspective is a little different, and everyone has a little bit different experience. So we had a great time. I took Connie and Doreen and Lori this year, and we took the drive. We left Wednesday, took the drive in 2 days, which was awesome. Didn't seem to take any time at all going. Coming back was a different story. Had a great time. Lots of shopping was done. I didn't feel that it was as crowded as it was maybe last year. It was very crowded on Friday night, but Saturday and Sunday didn't feel very crowded. We left to come home later than normal because I was bringing a trunk show back for May retreat, which probably isn't going to happen at this point. So we left later, which gave me a little extra time to wander around and actually look at models and talk to the designers a little bit more than what I normally do. I know you've seen everybody's videos, and I don't have any videos or anything to show you, or really any pictures to show you, because I'm too busy focusing on buying for people and the shop. And there just really isn't enough time. So, but we had a great time. I got to have breakfast one morning with Tanya from the Scarlet House, and I sat with Teresa Kitten Stitcher while she had breakfast one morning and had a nice visit with her. Stephanie and I ran into each other a few times in the hallway, so we got to hug each other a couple of times. I felt there was a lot of nice things this year. I didn't have my normal moment where, you see one thing and that's the one thing you absolutely have to have. I had several that I really, really, really liked, and I'll show you some of those today, but I'm not going to show you everything. I'm thinking maybe I'll do a short video every day and feature one design that I liked every day. I'm not going to make any promises, though, because you just never know what's going to happen. So, as long as I can get to the shop every day, I'm gonna plan on doing a video, just a short one. What else can I tell them about Market? Met some of the new designers.
Did you see any of the devastation there from the tornado?
We did not see any devastation from the tornado. We went through one area that there was some debris, but I think that was, tornadoes scatter that miles and miles away, and I think that's all that was. I don't think there was any actual damage from the tornado. So we came in from a different side of town, so we didn't see it. I hope that they're doing well with getting things back to normal as you can be in this time. It's weird times we're living in. So, I don't know. Dan, do you want to show what you've been stitching on?
Can, yep.
I forgot to grab your picture off the wall, too.
What picture?
Your November. I'll grab it.
Okay.
I can't remember if I showed it the last time.
These are my new glasses that I got from Market that Julie brought back for me.
Have you worn them?
Not yet.
Okay.
So this is the pattern that I'm working on right now. The Thomas Jefferson cherry tree horse.
It's not Thomas Jefferson.
Sam
That is
Adams.
George Washington.
George Washington.
And that's his horse, Blueskin.
This is where we're at. Just finished up the flag and starting on the tree, coming down the side. Julie thought it was weird that I'm not working on the horse, because that's definitely the most fun part of the stitch, but I think I'll save that for a little bit later and work on some of this cherry tree, because there's a lot of cherry tree there.
That's 32 count fabric using the called for fibers, but I can't remember the name of the fabric. I'll try and remember that and let you know.
So this one has a little story to it. This is a cardinal.
Can't show the,
I have the card picture.
you have your working copy?
This one, I can show.
You can show that, yes.
This is the pattern. It's a sister pattern to that one that you're going to show. Is that it?
No?
Oh. There's another one that's similar to that, that has another horse on it with a quilted blanket. And but this one has an interesting story, because I was watching the shop while Julie was gallivanting down in Nashville, and
I was not gallivanting. We were working hard.
And I had forgotten to bring my stitching in, I think the second day I was working, so I fell into the normal mode of most of you stitchers out there and just decided to kit up another project, so I had something to work on while she was gone. So I kind of threw that one together using the same fabric as on the other project, the horse project. And but I'm kind of putting that aside and working on Benjamin Franklin and his horse for a little while till I get that one done. Those are the two that I'm working on right now.
Okay. Do you have any haul?
That's all.
Something new?
Something new? Julie, did you pick this up at Market, or where'd you get this?
No, I ordered it.
Oh. Julie ordered this online for me. I've always expressed, I think Dimensions has one similar to this.
think so.
always kind of liked that one, so she probably remembered that and thought I would need something to stitch on for a couple days and finish up, or maybe a couple years. It's pretty much full coverage. But this is a Russian designer, you said?
I think so. I could be wrong.
But, it's got a lot of detail.
Polish, maybe? This does say made in Poland,
Okay.
so.
So that should be fun.
Let's see, what have I been working on? I have a finish. One finish. Where's my finish? There's my finish.
I'm gonna go grab my horse. Is it back there?
Yeah, I think it's in with the stuff waiting to be stretched. And then, I don't know that I showed your November one framed up. With the sheep? The Twin Peaks? That's behind me. Okay. So, new release from Market. I collect with a needle and thread. I really liked all of Brenda's releases, but I didn't have a burning desire to stitch any of them until I walked into her room on Sunday and saw how she had them displayed. And they were so stinking cute the way she had them displayed that I'm like, okay, now I gotta stitch them all. So when I got home, I immediately kitted this one up because she had it displayed in a glassed-in display case, and it had some of these cards in there and buttons, and it was just adorable the way it was displayed. And I have a box that Dan built for me. It's a glassed-in display case. It used to have a Barbie in it. It doesn't have a Barbie in it anymore, and it would be perfect for copying what Brenda did. So I immediately stitched that up. I finished it last night, and this is my finish.
Those are real buttons.
Those are real Mother of Pearl buttons. It was a quick. It only took me, how long have I been working on that? Maybe a week and a half, maybe? Didn't take very long at all. But it's going to be really cute when it's designed. And I don't know. I bought several packages of these flashcards. None of them have sold. But I think they're stinking cute when you're displayed with pin cushions and such. So I can't wait to get the finishing done on this and get it displayed in that box. It's an oak. Brenda's was kind of like old driftwood looking. Mine's oak, and I want him to shabby it up a little bit for me before I display it. But I'll show you when it's all finished what it looks like. Did you want to show your? I don't remember if I showed this the last time. I could have, maybe, but I don't know.
That was fun to stitch on. It looks like it would be tedious on the quilt, but it went by very quickly.
It's a popular chart. The other, let's see. I have also been working on the Scarlet House samplers. And I'm stitching mine on, these are the colors, by the way. And I'm stitching mine on a 25 count Lugana that I overdyed myself with walnut crystals, and I'm doing it over one, so it'll be pretty tiny perspective. That's my finger, so it's not going to be very big. I didn't want it to be very big, but it's been a lot of fun working on that one, and I like how my fabric, I don't know if you can really tell.
Backside shows you a bit, too.
Yeah. Backside. So.
It's browner than it looks.
It is browner than it looks. So I've been working on that off and on. I tried to work on it in the car on the way to Nashville, but we actually were driving a pickup. Big King Ranch or something pickup, and while it was very roomy, it was kind of bumpy in the back seat, so I couldn't really stitch for very long at a time. I got nauseated. So that is that project. And then I don't think I showed this either. I got an order in from Brenda Keys, a sampler company, and I really, really fell in love with Learn Little Maid. That house is really, it's a nice house, and it says, I don't have my glasses on, so gonna guess here. Learn, little maid, each useful art that may adorn thy youth. Learn to improve thy tender heart in virtue, grace, and truth. So I'm gonna guess that's maybe a schoolhouse. I could be wrong, but I just really liked that. And these are the called for colors, with the exception of I decided I wanted the schoolhouse to have a little variegation to it, so I subbed it out, the called for DMC, with Just Rust from Classic Colorworks. The color palette's really pretty. And then I went a little different on the fabric. This is a 40 count dried sage from Color and Cotton. Do not call me and ask for it, because I had a lady come in and buy everything I had last week. So it's on order, but I do not have any right now. It's kind of a blue-green with some brown in it. It's a beautiful piece of fabric. And the colors look great on it. So I want to get back to that one, but I'd kind of like to finish up samplers first, but who knows? We may have a lot of stitching time here shortly, so I may do a little bit of everything. Had a nice visit with Brenda from With Thy Needle and Thread on that Sunday at market when I was able to wander around. She's usually so busy she doesn't have time to really talk to anybody, and so we went in and we're looking at the models and had a nice little visit with her, and she was very appreciative that we took the time to come back when it wasn't so crazy and actually take time to see everything that she designed and how it looks when it's stitched up. So I enjoyed my visit with her too. That's all I've been working on. I pulled a few things from the What's New from Market, and I've pulled some fabrics and floss, so I think we'll move on to that. Which I'd hand me this one. And I've kind of avoided the Teresa Kogut. You've all seen that one. You've all seen. I mean, I've chosen mostly ones that I like that maybe were not as, or have not been featured as much. I could be wrong, because I haven't watched much Floss Tube in the last couple weeks, but in the floss tubes that I've seen, I haven't seen these, so yeah. All right, so the first one, I have always liked Stacy Nash's Animal Cracker series, but I haven't pulled the trigger and stitched any of them yet. And then I saw Scarlet. And she's just adorable. So I think I'm gonna have to stitch her.
Show back with the scissors.
And then on the back, you put a little fabric card on here that you can put your scissors in. And there's also a fob chart in there that you can do. But I just think she's adorable. This is her colors. Not very many colors. Now, this is supposed to be the color that you use. I don't know if it's going to be worth it. I may swap that out for DMC just because there's no variegation in that whatsoever. So I may switch it to a DMC and let someone out. Parchment is sometimes hard to get, so I may leave it for customers. And then it calls for a 36 R&R cream brulee, which I do not have. So I've got a 40 count Old Town blend that I think is probably pretty close to the cream brulee. I'm out of my medium size rings, so I had to put things on these small ones, and it's kind of tight.
It's creme brulee.
Okay, whatever. Cream brulee, creme brulee, tomato, tomato, potato, potato, whatever. So those are the colors. And I'm looking forward to starting her at some point. Maybe, well, no, I'm not going to say maybe retreat, because I have a feeling that,
It's going to be pretty long. There's a lot of.
oh, it's a lot of stitching.
Mm-hmm.
It is a lot of stitching. But she's cute. You got to admit she's cute.
I thought it was a he when I first saw it.
It's a girl. It's a dress.
I was looking at the face.
It's a dog face. How can you tell from a face? Okay, give me Spot. This one I managed to leave Nashville without actually buying. So I had to send her an email and say, hey, Kathy, would you go ahead and send me a visit from Spot? There is an original chart called Spot the Horse from way back in the day.
Would that be the horse with the spots on it?
That would be the horse with the spots on it, yes. That I've always liked. It's in my stash. I haven't stitched it, but I want to. So I had to get a visit from Spot. Now she has Spot stitched on Tyco, 36
You don't have
count Tyco. What?
You don't have Tyco, do you?
I do have Tyco. This is Tyco. It's kind of a yellow with hints of green, gray in it, which is not going to show at all on this.
The yellows don't show up at all. They look like white. But it's not white.
But it's not white, no. But it looks light. It looks white in here. And this is fine. But for me personally, I wanted to try something different. So, oh, let me show the colors. Sorry. I feel very disjointed today. Very disjointed. Okay, so these are the called for colors. All DMC. It's charted for NPI, but I didn't have them, so I just pulled the DMC. And they're fine, they all show up. The face on the lady standing there by the tree is charted for, the DMC color is 225, which to me is very, very pink. So I pulled my standard 950, and I'm going to make that substitution. And on one of the colors of fabric that I've chosen, her hair color is 03 or 08, this color. and it's not gonna show up, so I've also pulled a different hair color for her. I pulled 938.
Question though,
Yeah, what?
you're calling it out Spot the Horse,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm also seeing a Spot the Dog.
Well, there is a Spot the dog. Yeah, but Spot's the horse. Trust
How do
me.
you know?
Because Spot was the horse before.
I think we should take a vote. There's a horse, and let's not forget Spot the Dog. How many people think it's Spot the Dog and not Spot the Horse? Because it's easy to spot the horse. Spotting the dog, that's not what they mean.
No, that is not
Alright.
what they mean. Okay, so this is a linen from Leslie from Under the Sea fabric. It's called Sandbar. It's brown. It's got some hints of lavender in it. And I really kind of like how the colors, with the exception of her hair, keep in mind that's her hair. How the colors look on this.
It's browner than it looks.
It is browner than it looks. It looks kind of blue-gray here, but it's brown. And I really like that. But if that's a little out there for you, and it might be. I also have the 18th Century Rook from R&R that I think would work also. And this is a brown. It's got some green undertone to it, so it's coming off. I don't know what color it's coming off on your screen, but it's looking a little gray-green on mine. But I think those colors would be pretty on there too. I just didn't care for the lighter colored fabric. I don't know why. I just didn't. There you go.
You didn't burp it.
I didn't burp it, sorry. Let's go this way. Okay, another one of my favorites was Quaker Housewife from Chessie and Me. It's supposed to be stitched on Lakeside Linens Flagstone. But and here's the colors. Let me show you the colors. So the colors are grays, whites, got some barn door, I think. This is the called for white, which is eggshell. I'm switching it to picket fence because it's a little bit wider. I don't know if you can tell. Anyway, it's supposed to be stitched on 36 count flagstone, which, if 36 count flagstone was still this color, which is gray, actual gray, I would love. However, that's all I have left of that dye lot. The next dye lot came in looking like this. Much more brown. See that?
Yep. It happens.
It does happen. But I feel that I like the way that the picture looks, which is definitely gray fabric.
Indubitably.
And I don't necessarily care for how it's okay, but I'd rather have gray. So I went digging. You can put this back in that bag, please. I went digging through the wall. This is 36 count overcast, vintage overcast from Lakeside Linens. It's a little more gray than that fabric that I just showed you. No, go ahead.
Just go in there. No,
It's-
don't go in there.
What?
This doesn't go in there?
Yes, it does go in there.
They don't look the same.
It's okay. It's a little more gray, but it's still too brown for me. But it's better than the other. So then I moved on to Picture This Plus pewter. Which has a little bit of a green undertone to it, but it's more gray than some others. I really don't know how well these are showing. They're not showing very well for me. Kind of blown out. That's better. So that one would be okay, I think. The last thing I pulled was 32 count Stormy Night Lugana. And that's that fabric that's stamped on the one side, stamped on one side, but plain on the other. And I think of them all, this is what I like the best, is the plain side. I think is going to give me the look that I want, that's more like this. Not that the others don't work, just for me, I think that's how I want it to look. So my housewife would be a little bit bigger than called for because it's going to have to be on 32 count unless we find another gray linen somewhere. So you can have that. And you can have that.
Thank you.
And then I need one of those piles over there. Okay. And this is going to be, nope, it's not the last one. Okay, so La Di Da, we all know I like La Di Da. Her La Di Da Quaker. It's just two colors. It's charted for MPI silk. I just pulled the DMC. 3371 and 632. Let's see. There. It's charted to be stitched on 36 count parchment by Weeks Dye Works, which I'm out of. I think you might have used it all yesterday when you cut for that piece for Judy. I couldn't find what was left, so I pulled Espresso, which is similar and looks very nice. But I also, at Market, picked up some Mountain Air fabrics. This is one of them, called Egyptian Sand. This is a 40 count. And I think that could make for an interesting piece also.
Get closer to see if it shows more ground. Nope.
Nope. So, those are two options for that one. It's a very simple looking piece. I mean, it's a Quaker, but it was really pretty when it was stitched up. Most of La Di Da's this year were, when I saw the pictures, I was a little underwhelmed, but when I saw the actual stitched models, I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. So, models are very important. All right, and then hand me that one. Okay, this is one of my favorites. A Quaker Welcome from Lila Studio. It's very good, very popular chart, very good seller. And it calls for primitive hair, old Massachusetts linen, which I don't have in stock yet. I've got some on order, but I don't have it now. So I have pulled 40 count colonial parchment from Hand Dyed by Stephanie. And these are the colors. And I think that would be very pretty on there also. Don't you? Do you like that?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like that?
Mhm. Yep. Okay. Like the red highlights in it.
Mm-hmm. That's that coral color. Grapefruit.
Pretty close.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and lastly, I just thought I'd show you some of the waxers I brought back from Stacy Nash. I have a black cat waxer. Take it out so you don't see the glare, which would look adorable in a display with something with a cat in it. This isn't probably a waxer you want to use to actually wax your threads, but for display purposes, it would be adorable. And then the owl, he's going to be hard to see, but the owl waxer, again in a Halloween display. This would be amazing. And then, of course,
Fruit.
what?
Nothing.
The strawberry. I have it in, pretty sure I have it in natural and black. It may only be natural. And then the little raspberry I have in, I think, natural, red, and the black. So it looks kind of like a black raspberry there. Not kind of, it kind of is a black raspberry. But black raspberries aren't typically black, kind of purpley black. But that's close enough, right? Anyway, they'd be really cute in a display also. Again, probably you don't want to use them for waxing. They're more for display purposes. And then Dan has chosen a few things that he saw that I brought home. And so he's going to share those with you. Nope, it was that fabric
Oh.
and that floss.
You're better at the displaying than I am. You can tell about this designer, but these two caught my eye just as ones that kind of stood out. I don't know if it's the fabric, but the fabric on this really looks cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of spooky right there. If you like Halloween, it's definitely one you should try.
The called for fabric is murky. And those are the colors. Now this was a new designer at Market. And as I understand it, the husband, there's a husband and wife team, and he's a graphic designer. And I could be totally wrong, so don't quote me on this. But I think he's a graphic designer, and I think his wife talked him into starting to design cross stitch.
Good choice.
And I'd say he's doing a good job.
There's enough detail to make it look.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's pretty super cool.
So that's the fabric that it
That's the called
recommends?
for fabric, yes. I do not have the called for fabric for this next one.
Okay.
So I chose something from the shelf over here.
Same designer, same spookiness. He's an older witch working on a potion.
called Midnight Brew. Where's your flosses? Oh, I didn't pull the flosses because it uses 310 and then it uses DMC light effects and a rainbow gallery, and I don't have them yet.
Is that what that yellow is, a light effect?
Oh, I don't know which one is which.
Because it looks pretty fluorescent.
Yeah. I'm sure one of them is the moon and one of them is the cauldron color.
Very nice.
But I chose Rhiannon from Hand Dyed by Stephanie, I think would be a pretty fabric for that one.
That looks a lot like the fabric on the screen. Yep.
Mhm. This is a 32 count, so.
Gotta have something purple. It's
I
definitely
think
a
so. I
purple.
think you need to have a purple. I don't think it would look the same without it. But what did it call for? Does it say? Darkness falls from under the sea. Huh. I'll have to look into that. It calls for 28 count. Opal. Dark, and it's an opalescent too, so there's some glittery. I thought I noticed some, what looked like glittery in there. So it's an opalescent fabric that it's stitched on, but I don't have it. So I'll have to talk to Leslie and maybe get that ordered in for that one, because it's pretty cool fabric. Okay.
Those are the two that jumped out to me with everything coming in. This one, I just picked a man stitch. It's kind of known for that. So this is not a market one, correct?
That is not new,
But I saw it up there.
but I
and,
did bring it home from market because I haven't had it before.
That's definitely a man stitch there. The old winter.
And I think part of the reason you were attracted to that was the fabric.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So, this, this is what that fabric looks like.
These are definitely some man colors here. Golds and browns.
And when are you gonna stitch this one?
I don't know. I didn't say I was, I just like it.
Okay. Well, I think you should stitch it, because I really like it too, but I
So-
don't wanna stitch it.
So this is the fabric showing through?
No, I think that's probably a back stitch kind of situation.
Okay.
Maybe not back stitch, maybe it's just at one line of stitching.
Yeah. It's interesting, because you
Snowflake?
got the snowflake right on top of the deer. So Julie says that's back stitched on there.
I didn't, I said maybe.
Maybe.
Let me look. Maybe it's back stitched, but I think it's more likely just a single stitch kind of thing, situation. Yeah. Yep,
Okay.
that's stitched. Not back stitched. There is some back stitching though in the face.
Mhm.
But I do think you should stitch that one. I do.
What count would that be on?
On this, it's 30 count.
Okay. Can I do two or one?
You would do two.
Okay.
You would not like one on, you don't like one on 36 count, so you would not like one on 30 count. He's definitely a two-strand stitcher. Does not like stitching with one strand. And whereas I love stitching with one strand and hate stitching with two. So,
She stitches backwards too.
and upside down. So, everyone has their own process. What else do we want to talk about? Anything? Do you have anything? Currently, Dan is still going into work, but they're having a meeting tomorrow to figure out who's going to work in the building and who's going to work from home.
Yeah.
So he could be at home here pretty soon.
We were forced to do our CAD software class that I teach, which is a real hands-on type class, and together we were thinking, there ain't no way we're gonna be able to teach this online, but it is what it is. So we've set it up, and all three of the instructors have done a couple classes online, and it's actually going pretty well. Fortunately, I had a couple classes one-to-one to kind of get them through the fundamentals. So we're going to see how that goes, but personally, I think that after this is all over, this is just my Nostradamus prediction, that you're going to see a big change just in all of society. I think it's going to kind of open everybody's eyes to the benefits and the positive things that come from doing a lot of e-learning over the internet, through the cloud.
You think there's benefits to that?
Well, I think there can be, but I think it's bringing forth, like, we would have never thought to teach AutoCAD online, but now I'll bet you that if everything goes continually as it has been, I think it's a possibility that we may go that route with some of the classes.
I think that would be hard to do.
I do too. I'm not saying I support this idea. I just think it's going to be something that's out there on the forefront. Just some new ways of doing things, buying a car online, getting your groceries online.
Well, we already buy our groceries online most of the time, but a car online?
It's an example. It's going to change. There's going to be some changes. This whole thing is going to cause some changes.
I'm not changing.
In society.
I do not like change. You cannot make me change.
Okay.
You cannot. You can't do it.
Take that back.
That one, Dan. Did I show that one?
Oh, I did that one?
Yes, you did do that one.
I don't think I've seen it since you framed it.
I don't know if I've showed it since I framed it. Did I show this before? If I did, I apologize, but you can see it again. This is a Twin Peaks. Do you see this? That is called a stress pimple right there, guys. Ugh. This is Twin Peaks. And I changed it from the DMC to Overdyes. Dan stitched it up. And I really like how it turned out. I love that turkey. I love the quilt blocks on the sides of the sheep.
Mm-hmm.
I think these trees are super cool. I think it turned out nice.
It's kind of funny how you forget about what you've stitched until you've seen it, because I kind of forgot about that one.
Well, it's been a while. I mean, you finished it up before November.
Oh,
I
'cause we
just
wanted
didn't
it
get
for
it, because I
Thanksgiving.
wanted it for Thanksgiving, but I didn't get it framed until just recently, but I really like how it turned out.
I do have a nice framer. She does a good job.
And then your hoopla, your St. Patrick's Day hoopla is up in the display case. I forgot to pull that too.
Well, you can talk for a little bit. I'll look at it.
What shall I talk about, dear?
Give them an update on retreats.
How about a family update a little bit? Amy and Emily are doing fine in North Carolina. Amy is now doing telework, and there is some question as to whether she'll be allowed to graduate this spring. I think that's crap. I think they should be allowed to graduate, but that's just my opinion. This is not completely finished here, but it's with thy needle and thread. There. Holiday Hoopla St. Patrick's Day. It's stitched on 36 count limestone linen, and Dan bitched and moaned because I had him use just one strand, and he does not like the coverage. So I think he went back and he did the sheep in two, didn't you?
And then it's the first time I had to do the 1/1.
Oh, and he had to do 1/1 for the shamrock on the sheep's butt.
And some of these other shamrock things are done
Yeah.
too.
But I think it turned out cute. I just haven't finished up the back of it yet. Okay, so Amy and Emily are doing fine. King Louis is doing well also. he likes having both moms home. And let's see, Abby and Travis and Reese are doing well. Reese has had a rough go of it. She's was diagnosed with MSPI and a couple other allergies, so she's pretty much screamed for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the last month. Abby was kind of at her wit's end, and she was following the diet, and Reese was still screaming, so they have put her on formula, and she's starting to do much better now. She actually slept for a couple hours straight last night, and so we're hopefully she's on the mend, and it'll be an easier go of things for them. Their house is almost done. We were out there. We needed to take her out some food the other day, so we ran out there Friday.
Yep.
I closed the shop and took food out for them on Friday, and got to see the house, and it's looking really good. And they're at the point where they're hanging light fixtures and putting the handles on the cabinets, and we hung our curtains for her. So they should be able to move in, I would say, in another couple weeks anyway. They'll be totally
I
done.
slept out there already, the first one. I'm the first one to
Yeah,
sleep out
Dan
there.
actually slept. He went out there. He built that big, he calls it a locker thing.
The mudroom.
For the mudroom.
Poultry.
You hang your coats, and it's got cubbies in it. And he built her a custom piece for her laundry room. And he went out there to finish it up, and they set the bed up in the guest room out there, so he's already slept out there. But as he was going into the house one night,
Stepping up into the garage.
he was stepping up into the garage. The steps aren't poured yet,
Mhm.
so he shouldn't probably have tried to do that.
Muddy feet did it.
It was muddy, and he didn't quite make the step, and so he ended up splitting open his shin, which should have had stitches, but they didn't take him to get stitches. So when he came home and showed it to me the next morning, I made him go to the urgent care, and they butterflied it. They cleaned it all up and butterflied it closed, and it's pretty nasty looking, but it's healing up okay, I guess. I always worry because with his diabetes and the lower leg, you just don't want an infection starting in that. So they're doing well. And then Adam, Marcia, Emma, and Addie are doing fine. Adam is mostly on his own at work. Most of the workers are working remotely in his office.
They had to shut that office down for a cleanup.
Yeah, an employee's husband or an employee's wife
Yeah.
got the virus, and so they had to shut it down and disinfect. So most everyone there is working remotely. Marcia teaches exercise classes, so she's had to go to doing it online now. And the girls are going a little stir crazy because they're used to going. So this is the first time they've actually had to stay home. And
The weather hasn't, we've had snow. and
snow and wind and ice and rain and
Might as well move
all
back
in
to
one
Wyoming.
day. So they're going a little stir crazy and missing their grandpa. And let's see, I still have the shop open, sort of, kinda. I'm happy to take phone orders, email orders, orders through the website. I do think I'm gonna shut down letting people come in the door, though, this week.
The doctor's office are not even letting the patients, they're making them wait out in the car until they're ready to bring them in. That happened the day that I went to emergency care. They let me in, they let one other person in, and then I heard them huddled in the background, humma, 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 humma. And they said, okay, well, let's make them wait outside. So,
So, yeah, it's interesting. I don't know whether retreat's going to happen yet. I'm still holding out a slim hope that it's still a little over a month away, and I'm hoping, but I'm not making any promises on retreat. I did talk to the people at the retreat center, and they'll just roll everything over to the fall. So we won't lose our money, but I'm still hoping that we'll be able to have it, although people keep looking at me with pity in their eyes when I say that and shaking their head no. So I'm going to guess I'm just,
we're still working on all the projects, though.
yeah, we're
for it.
still working on projects as though it's going to happen. So we'll be that much further ahead for fall if it has to be rolled back. We won't have to do anything for fall as long as we don't quit working. I'm kind of behind. I've got a lot of painting to do this weekend.
Painting.
Yeah. So that's kind of how that is. Update on my nephew Ben. He's holding his own. They have noticed some positive changes. Some things they think are not going to get better. They're pretty much completely in isolation. Chris is still going to work, but they were in the middle of their kitchen remodel and had to send the construction people home because they just can't have them coming and going. So they're trying to finish the remodel on their own, and it is not necessarily going well.
How old is Ben? 13?
Ben is 13.
So I asked Ben when I was over there the other night, so I said, how long have you been in isolation? He goes, well, since I was about 2. I said, oh.
That's true. Pretty much true. So this really isn't anything new for them. It's just they have to be even more diligent about letting anyone in the house. So, yeah, market was good. Talked to a lot of nice people, saw a lot of nice things. The trip home was horribly long. We ran into some pretty heavy rain, had to pull off. Doreen got tired and had to pull off and sleep for a while. I don't think we'll do that all in. I think we're too old to do one all in one day. I just think we're too old for that. I could probably do it, but I don't think the rest of them can. It was just too long. Market open house went well.
Busy.
It was very busy. I'm glad market happened when it did, because another week and we probably wouldn't have had market.
We appreciate all the help we had at the open house.
We do appreciate all the help, and I appreciate everybody who is still phoning in orders, emailing in orders, going on the website and ordering. I hope that continues, and I hope that everyone continues to support the small businesses. I feel terrible for the bars and the restaurants that have had to close.
We've tried to order out several times and pick up just to kind of help.
It's not the virus. Tickle. So, yeah, I'm sure we could sit here and ramble longer, but I think we're going to go on home and try and get some things done at home. What are you doing?
Shield.
Oh, you're funny. Not. Anyway, I will try, as long as I can get here. I'm going to, like I said, try and do just a short little video every day. And if not, I'll do some from home. I don't know what I'll do it on, but I hope everyone is doing well.
Yep. Take care of yourselves.
Be safe, be smart, and
thank you for the ones who requested that I come and make an appearance. Not quite sure what the draw is there, but thank you. Enjoyed it.
The draw is you, dear.
It's the legend.
It's the legend.
And the dragon.
The myth, the legend, the dragon, whatever that is. Yeah. You know, dragon's probably closely related to a T-Rex, right?
A little more mythical.
Yeah, you just keep thinking that. Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to let you go. Thank you for watching. If you're new, thank you for checking us out. And we will see you next time.
Take care.
Take care.